el Real todos los partidos son difíciles. Vamos a esta imagen de la victoria del Real Madrid, 1-0, con el gol de Mijatovic, cuando faltaban 4 minutos para terminar ante el Real Betis. 1-0 para el Real, la alegría es enorme porque está jugando el campeonato de UEFA cuando realmente su caída en los últimos días había sido vertical. Mire, el segundo gol que se pierde, pero bueno, ya había ganado prácticamente.
Muy bien. This was a tight tussle between two teams who've enjoyed successful seasons. Sociedad had the best of the early chances. Gomez's header tipping the crossbar. Chelsea and Newcastle watch out for Mallorca in the Cup Winners' Cup next season. Valeron's thumping drive was blocked away by Alberto. A much better chance came the way of Gabriel Amato, but the Argentine's header was poor. With a quarter of an hour remaining, both teams were reduced to 10 men. When Olazola and Gomez tangled, off they went. Just as both teams looked like settling for a draw, a horrible mistake by Marcelino, 2 minutes from time, let in former Sheffield Wednesday striker Darko Kovacevic. He's had an excellent season for Sociedad, but it hasn't always been this easy for him. Kovacevic finishing the campaign with 17 Primera Liga goals. There was still time for Mallorca to mount a salvage operation, but Yugoslav Jovan Stankovic couldn't quite get it right from the free kick. Mallorca 0, Real Sociedad 1. Atletico Madrid's Andre has tried a few of these this season. They haven't all come off, but that one did. Needless to say, Andre comes from Brazil. That was in the first minute. The 89 that followed couldn't quite match it. Uruguayan Fernando Correa went in search of an equaliser, but keeper Molina wasn't overly troubled. Juninho is back in business. His tremendous touch put Jordi Lardin away, but Jose Marie was unable to feed on the scraps. Racing had already secured safety, and it showed, although Arpon came close to an equaliser. Atletico hit form at just the right time to sneak a UEFA Cup place, but their fans will be expecting new coach Arrigo Sacchi to mount a championship challenge next season. The home fans here just happy to survive. Racing Santander 0, Atletico Madrid 1. Merida needed a win to have any chance of staying up, and they might have thought it was going to be their day when Celta's Israeli international Haim Revivo missed a sitter. Oops. Revivo went some way towards making amends by setting up the game's opening goal on 13 minutes. Unlucky 13 for Merida, and pretty unlucky for the scorer Moises, who injured himself in the process. Relegation looming for Merida coach Jorge D'Alessandro. And although his side battled bravely in the Balaidos, they never really looked like winning. Although Luis Sierra's header was superbly saved by Celta's French keeper, Richard Dutourelle. Celta's home form this season has been awesome, and they went 2 up just before the hour through Bosnian Vladimir Kudej. And one of the season's surprise sides was starting to think ahead to a European adventure next season. Alexander Mostovoy tried a spectacular third. Merida, though, did a Bolton, a Barnsley, or a Crystal Palace if you prefer. Promoted last year, relegated this year. For coach D'Alessandro, there were consoling words from Celta's main man, Irureta, who has the UEFA Cup to look forward to. In fact, I think they're all looking forward to it in Vigo. Celta Vigo 2, Merida 0.
Great turn. Savio to his left, plays it to Mijatovic. Has a good shot. Oh, great goal, Mijatovic! Immense individual talent.
spot for Uzair. And Guerrero is pressed off the bar. Echeverria! 1-0 Bilbao! Joseba Echeverria with his 13th goal of the season.
More from Ian Crocker later, but first.
Tenerife made hard work of avoiding the drop despite this early effort from former Middlesbrough man Emerson. Romanian international Adrian Ili helped turn around Valencia's season when he joined over Christmas from Galatasaray of Turkey. Ili's lovely lob on 17 minutes had them biting their nails in the Heliodoro Rodrigo Lopez Stadium. Tenerife, though, soon equalised through Felipe. The deflection getting the better of Spanish international keeper Andoni Zubizarreta, playing his last league match after announcing his intention to retire after the World Cup. Zubi was claiming offside, but then I suppose he would. 1-1, and it stayed that way until 12 minutes from time, when Frenchman Jocelyn Anglemar set up Fernando. Valencia 2-1 up, and it looked like Tenerife would have to rely on other results to survive. But then again, perhaps not, because that was the first of 3 goals in 4 fast and frantic minutes. Portuguese international Domingos scrambled an equaliser, and then came controversy when Slavica Jokanovic went down under pressure from Anglemar. It's difficult to see how much contact was made, but there might well have been a shove. Yugoslav Jokanovic stepped up to score from the spot and guaranteed Tenerife's Primera Liga status. They were one of the big spending clubs in Spain this season, but it didn't really get them anywhere, and they avoided the relegation playoffs by just a point. Too close for comfort, but worth a celebration anyway. Tenerife 3, Valencia 2. Both Espanyol and Valladolid were firmly ensconced in mid-table, with nothing at stake except possible Intertoto Cup qualification. So perhaps that's why neither side looked like they wanted to win. There were plenty of digs from distance in a scrappy match, but Espanyol was slightly the more adventurous, Luis forcing a save from Cesar in the Valladolid goal. The home side didn't offer too much in reply, although Santa Maria did hit the bar. Luis then came back for a bit more as the game livened up in the closing stages. Valladolid 0, Espanyol 0. Normally you wouldn't choose a last day trip to the Nou Camp if you're fighting for survival, but Barcelona have long since won the double, and in the past few weeks their minds have been elsewhere. Silvani poked Salamanca into a first-half lead. Barcelona did the double despite their defence, which conceded 56 goals, more than relegated Merida. In fact, only 3 of the 20 teams in the whole of the Primera Liga let in more. Portugal's Pauleta was the latest to benefit from their generosity 8 minutes into the second half, and 3 minutes later, Pauleta was there again to put Salamanca 3-0 up. Barcelona have that look. We've won the double, it's the last game of the season, and we really can't be bothered look about them. Cesar Brito rammed in number 4 with 17 minutes remaining. Salamanca safe, but their relegation-threatened rivals Compostela hit out at Barcelona for their end-of-season apathy. They did score in the last minute through youngster Jofra, but by then most of the meagre 25,000 who'd bothered to turn up in the first place had already reached home. Barcelona 1, Salamanca 4. Compostela faced the relegation playoffs, so do Oviedo, who had the better of the early exchanges. Cesar almost hit the net, and then he did, but it was disallowed for offside, and rightly so. Compostela soon settled, and the game's only goal came after 20 minutes. Predictably from Bulgarian international Lubo Penev. His 16th of the season, so the goals haven't come from anywhere else, and that's why the battle to avoid the drop goes on for Compostela. They face Villarreal in the relegation playoffs. Oviedo will meet Las Palmas. The visitors should have equalised, but Juan Gonzalez cracked the crossbar. And Fabiano nearly wrapped it up for Compostela. Credit, though, to keeper Esteban. There weren't many smiles around at the end on either side. Compostela 1, Oviedo 0.
Well, this then is the bottom half of La Liga, the way it finished, the final table, confirmation that merit